Welcome to Module 7 of EDU 350, Instructional Strategies and Teaching Methodologies. So essentially, as this is, we're over 50% through this course, and we have talked about the foundations of curriculum and planning, right? UBD, UDL, theorists, and environmental factors. We've talked about standards and objectives. We've talked about assessment types. And now this week we're going to be focusing on methodologies and strategies in order to help us plan our learning activities. So this module, we're going to talk about identifying common methodologies and instructional strategies and analyzing the strengths and limitations of each teaching approach. So essentially, choosing the right teaching methods is crucial for achieving the desired learning outcome and engaging students in the learning process, right? So these teaching methodologies you're going to be learning about this week they're crucial for designing the learning outcomes and creating engaging learning activities for students. So when we think about teaching methodologies, the first thing I want to talk about is direct instruction versus indirect instruction. We need a combination. No one is better than the other. We need a combination in order to really ensure that students are able to to learn everything they need to learn and achieve the goals for the lesson. So direct instruction is teacher-centered, and it provides the teacher provides instruction and feedback. So, for example, you do during lectures, slide presentations, modeling and demonstration. If you're in early childhood, modeling and demonstration, that's really how we do direct instruction. You don't do as many slide presentations. If you're working with older students, you would do slide presentations or lectures. So those are examples of direct instruction. So it is clear, right? It's replicable learning. So I'm showing you exactly how to do something, and you're able to do it right after I show you how to do it. So I'm showing you why 1 + 1 is 2, and you are able to show me exactly back why 1 + 1 is 2. But it is passive and it lacks verbal exchange. So, right, because it's just me showing you. Then indirect instruction is more student-centered. So teacher guides the discovery, exploration, and children construct the knowledge. And so it is a complement to direct instruction. Students observe, investigate, they form a hypothesis. The teacher becomes the facilitator and the supporter. So again, like I said, we need to use a combination of this direct instruction and the indirect instruction, right? So if I go back to math as my example, we use the direct instruction, right? Showing you this is why 1 + 1 is 2, right? This is how you add. This is how we add. Now you are going to go and explore on your own, right, through indirect instruction, and figure out what's 2 + 2, what's 3 + 2, right? I taught you through direct instruction the basics of addition, and then now you're going to go explore on your own, and I'm going to help facilitate and support as you continue to learn your addition facts. Maybe through hands-on materials, through different graphic organizers, etc. So this video explains direct instruction. It's in your course materials. And this video also, goes into indirect instruction. So again, these are the differences between direct instruction and indirect instruction. Now, here's something that I want to point out. We use direct instruction for foundational content, right? Students cannot learn how to read through indirect instruction. You need direct instruction to teach somebody how to read, right? You need direct instruction to teach basic foundational math facts, right? 1 + 1. But once you teach those foundations, then you can use indirect instruction to help build on those foundations. So using reading as an example, right, I can use direct instruction to teach phonics, right? Phonics is taught through direct instruction, but then indirect instruction, maybe I can use to teach the differences between fiction versus nonfiction, or I can use it to teach the differences in the genres of fiction. What can students tell the difference between fantasy and what can students see is the difference between fantasy and historical fiction, right? So that could be indirect instruction where they're exploring different fantasy books and different historical fiction books and seeing the difference in those two genres. So that's how we can use indirect instruction to then support our direct instruction. So the other thing, so this article here, chapter 2, choosing appropriate instructional methods, this is in your reading. It talks about selecting appropriate methods, balancing the need between direct and indirect instruction, and how varying methods influence diverse learners. So this article is going to be really important to help you out this week. There's several articles about these different instructional methods and strategies: inquiry-based, cooperative learning, flipped learning, and project-based. This article here tells you is about more early learning. So Reggio Emilia, Playway, Montessori, Bank Street, Waldorf. This is also in your reading. And then for your discussion, you're going to be adding to the Padlet, and I have a video about this as well, but you're going to be working as a group to add to the Padlet, researching teaching methodologies and answering these questions. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that you're aligning your teaching methods with your learning objectives and your content, and that's going to be directly related to your assignment for this week. This week you're going to practice aligning your teaching methods with the learning objectives presented in the content. Balance your teaching methods, right, between teacher-centered and student-centered, so between direct instruction and indirect instruction. Vary your teaching methods to cater for different students, different learning styles, and then evaluate your teaching methods and their effectiveness. So that's the assessment, right? A part of the assessment is not just evaluating the students, but it's also evaluating how effective was your instruction. So speaking of instructional strategies, so the instructional strategies are tools and techniques that help students overcome the obstacle of learning and reach higher levels. So these instructional strategies are what we use paired with the teaching methodologies in order to help us reach the objectives with our students. So there's several articles. I have an article for each instructional strategy that you can explore, and this will also help you with the assignment this week. So the final thing is the gradual release of responsibility. This is very important for all the courses that you're going to take here because all the lesson plans follow this gradual release of responsibility. I do, we do, you do model. So essentially, it's I do, right? The I do part is when the teacher models and explains the skill or the concept. So I do, right? So let's say my goal is to teach CVC words, right? Like cat, mat, hat. So I do, right, is I am going to teach the students how to sound out the word cat. I'm going to model it to them. I'm going to explain it to them. And I'm going to say at cat, right? And I'm going to say, okay, I sounded out each word and then I blended it together. And then we do, right? That's when the teacher and the students practice together with guided support. So now I say, okay, let's practice it all together as a class. Let's sound out the word mat. And then as a class, we all do it together. We sound out the word mat. At, mat. Everybody does it. So I say, great. We segmented and then we blended and we read the word mat. Awesome. Then you do together, right? So that part, students can do it in pairs or in groups. So for now I say, okay, now with your partner, I'm going to each give you 3 words and they want you to sound these words out with your partner. And I walk around the classroom and I listen for the students sounding out the words. together as a class. And as they're doing it, I'm taking notes, I'm assessing how they're doing with their group. Then I say, okay, now you're going to go and do it alone. And at their desks, they go and they have a, you know, a reader that's a decodable reader that they have to read on their own, decoding CVC words. So, um, so that's the I do, you do, I do, we do, you do gradual release of responsibility model. We do this because it is a way to provide the direct instruction for students, but also to give them a chance to work independently and apply the skill that they learned. So the biggest part is in the I do, we are not asking the students questions. The I do part, you are showing them how to do it, right? I do, me. It's my show. Me, the teacher, not the students. That's the one big mistake that I always see people doing in the I do is they're saying, oh, at, cat, did I sound that out right? And in that part, you're including the students. And we don't want to do that, right? It's just I do. You're just showing them how to do it. At, cat. That's it. In the we do part, that's when you can start asking them the questions. You can say, oh, and now I'm going to read the word mat. Can you help me? It, mit. Did I sound that out right? Right? That's a part of the we do. So the I do is just the teacher. You can see here in the visual. The we do is the teacher with the students. You can do that however you want. The you do together, the students can do it with the partner. And then you do alone, the student does it on their own. Here's a video that gives you some more direct information that's also in the course materials. This is also in the course materials. It is a whole presentation all about gradual release of responsibility. And you need to review the gradual release of responsibility materials before you do the assignment this week. This is a video for the Module 7 discussion explaining how to do it. And then for the Module 7 assignment, there's also a video that explains how to do it. And then there is a sample. This is a sample of a Module 7 assignment that has been completed.